All right, thanks. I'm CJ Kraft. Thanks for the opportunity to join the meeting. I'm here on behalf of our Lake Julia Association, of which I'm a board member. So I provided a couple attachments. I'm going to refer to the kind of short and easy one. It's just an information sheet. So if you have that to look at, you'll see the DNR refers to our lake as Julia Lake because there's also a Lake Julia in Rhinelander area. So we're talking about Julia Lake. It's a 400-acre lake just east of the town of Three Lakes, and it borders both Oneida and Forest County. So we're going to apply for the lumberjack grant that's coming up for the installation of the eyelid system. And eyelids stands for Internet Landing Installed Device Sensor. And you can see a picture of it on that attachment that I sent. If you're looking at the picture, you can see it. It's kind of a freestanding structure that gets installed at the boat landing. It's got a solar panel up top, some signage, housing for electronics, and then a concrete base. And then the other photo on that page kind of shows the tentative placement at our landing. So the purpose of eyelids is we want to use it to help prevent the spread of aquatic invasive species. If you can go to the other attachment, that would be, there you go. Yeah, that's what I was referring to. So, we want to use it to prevent AIS, not just for our lake, but obviously also for the other lakes in the area as boaters travel from one to the other. And the way it works is when a trailer enters the landing, it triggers the system to kick on an audible message that just reminds boaters to keep their boat clean of any debris or water hanging from the trailer or the boat itself, and also reminds them that they're being monitored so that we can see if there's any violations, they could be reported to the appropriate authorities. We're looking for this. Obviously, we're concerned about AIS. The spread of AIS increases every year. And once you get AIS in the lake, it's almost impossible or pretty much impossible to get rid of it. So for many years now, we've used the monitors through the Clean Boats, Clean Waters program. However, it's getting increasingly difficult to hire an adequate staff of monitors, and also the hours they can work tend to be limited. So the eyelid system provides a very consistent monitoring solution that can run for about 16 hours a day, every day between April and October. Why are we asking for the grant? The initial cost to purchase the system, install it, and run it for the first summer is just under $20,000. Our lake, we have 50 home sites on Lake Julia, so our funds in the association are rather limited. If we're approved for the $10,000 lumberjack grant, then we do have approval and adequate funds in our association's 2027 budget to fund the balance needed. So timing wise, the lumberjack meeting is scheduled for late October. If we get approved for the grant, then we plan to install the eyelid system in April of next year. So again, we appreciate your consideration or giving us the opportunity here, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Do you need to get the entire 10,000 in order to fulfill the grant, or could you accept something less? Because we're going to be asking a lot of groups that are applying if they could accept something less, since we don't have a lot of funding.
Right. Right, understand. And right now our budget is based on getting the full 10,000. So if we get the 10,000, we can definitely do it. If we don't get the 10,000, then that would probably require us to go back to the residents to ask for, like a special contribution or something like that, which would be very uncertain.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Michelle, do we do anything on these? Do we just?
No, just recognize.
Just recognize them.
Yep, and that'll be in the minutes, and that would be good to go.
But any further questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good, thank you.
Okay. Here now, I don't know if I know this guy. Town of Shepke Shoreline Protection Project, Mr. Bob Mott, for those of you that have not been on the committee long, Bob was a longtime member of this committee. Followed Rudolph as chair, which was a very big shoes to fill, but he did it very well.
Thank you.
And as I told people, I'm not quite sure how I became chair, other than I was on this committee.
I was a
long
little
time.
shocked.
Well, Bob did a wonderful job and was a very, very good county board member for any number of years. So welcome back, Bob.
Thank you so much. What I'm gonna do is talk about a little bit about the background of our Pelican Lake Shoreline Restoration Project. I'm Bob Mott, as was pointed out, chairman of the town of Shepke. I was Oneida County Supervisor from 2012 to 2022. 10 years was enough. That's just a hint to you people.
But I think when you got elected, you said you'd go 10 years.
I think I said that.
Yep.
I talked to Ted and I said, when are you gonna retire, Ted? Oh, I still like it. Chairman of Land and Water Committee for 2 terms, Executive Committee Lumberjack, RC&D to the present. Mary Schmitzer is the other speaker today. She's, the Pelican Lake Association has 400 members. We have a 3,500 acre lake. And she is the committee chair for land use, one of the separate committees. The project is to provide rock and soils preservation of shoreline totaling 150 feet north of the Shepke Town Hall, which is in downtown beautiful Pelican Lake. The area was first developed as a buffer zone demonstration project by Lumberjack grant in 2014-2015. A grass shoreline was donated to the Lake Association by the town to show riparian owners, both here and others who pass by on Highway 45, an example of how plantings can filter water and also prevent erosion. It's worked really quite well. A lot of people have stopped by, and we certainly invite you to do that. It's just north of Town Hall. There's a little gravel drive off 45. Areas to be reserved will be serve as an example of what shoreline owners can do to preserve their shoreline with a riprap soil combination. To serve the shoreline where the demonstration buffer is located, it will start south of the actual buffer itself, where there's just a grass hill line or hillside, and then extend down to a culvert that comes off Highway 45. It would also serve as another example of how native shoreline plantings can be used to preserve shoreline from erosion. We've had 4 cost estimates. Mary's got those that range from 11.7 to 17. And we think the bids were apples and apples. So the reason that one's 11.7 and 17 is like anytime you get a bid from anyone, some are high and some are not quite so high. We will present this as a grant project proposal for 2027 to Lumberjack. The minutes from this presentation will serve as a required presentation to the Land and Water Conservation Committee. And a formal vote is no longer required. As I understand it, at one time it was, but I think that has changed. It's just the presentation. So
Yes, I think you're right, Bob.
yeah. I want to thank you very much, and here's Mary.
Nice to have you here.
Thank you.
It's your show.
They love it.
How much are you asking? I can't.
We're gonna ask for 10,
Okay,
and I think it requires 25% in kind and cash contributions, that'd be 2,500. But we have both Pelican Lake Association and the town of Shepke, who the town is gonna sponsor this. Hopefully you can get cash from them, and then our town workers and the Pelican Lake Association members can provide some in-kind labor as well.
thank you.
And I explained to the contractor that we are old, but we still can do some stuff.
Okay, I am Mary Schmitzer.
I've been working with Bob Mott, and currently I am the chairperson for the committee with the Pelican Lake Association for the Land and Shoreline section of the town of Shepke area. Photos of the shoreline erosion area into the hill shoreline are north of the dock shows vegetation and erosion areas. And sadly, the photos that I have taken don't really do justice. I know that there were other photos taken. I have copies of the photos that I took going into the actual hill and down into the water looking into it. The shoreline itself is old and has a long history, and basically it has not been touched in a very, very long time. There are rocks definitely below the water mark and some just above the water mark, as shown in some of the pictures that I have taken, and there's probably a couple there too. Looking into the vegetation closely, it can be seen where there are roots showing above the water mark and into the shoreline above some of the stumps and around. Our goal and intention is to fix and restore the shoreline with rock above the water mark, 3 feet or according to whatever the requirements are. Above the rock would be a buffer zone. Since 2014, that buffer area was greatly eroded and is definitely need repair. In addition to planting, of which is highly recommended, will be done and to preserve the shoreline. Currently, there's no native plants. We're only seeing weeds in there. I know that there is one that is from the water. You look at it, it's rather tall. I did not look to see what the name of that is. I'm thinking it's some type of a weed. I don't know, so I can't specify. There are a lot of weeds and tree sprouts growing along that shoreline right now. If it's left as it is, soon we're going to have growth and it's going to look like wild forest, and erosion is going to continue there. So our goal is that the townland and Pelican Lake shoreline really does need some strong attention here. The assistance is that we estimate in the proposal that was provided by Robert Stymick and Son LLC of Elko, cash and kind contributions from the Pelican Lake Association, town of Shepke, along with anyone else between these two associations. They will assist and help in the project, and that has already been agreed that they would do that. Additional contributions would help, of course, in volunteering. And of course, again, we do have the support from both sides. The additional help will be provided not only with the help of the Stymick and Sons, included in their proposal, which would include rock, dirt, sedge grasses, ferns, natural flowering plants for the birds and bees and the butterflies. In summary, in addition to the erosion project, is to mitigate and incorporate a need to protect any runoff which can be effective in this goal. This area is again 150 feet of shoreline just north of the dock to the drainage area culvert. This is the only section of shoreline that is owned by the town of Shepke and that we're concentrating on. There is more footage, but we're not going to include any of that. In this area, there is also a town garden that was developed with a grant in 2014 by Gene Hansen of the United Conservation. A gravel road next to the Highway 45 of the town hall, and a garden was developed for parking for people visitors. They were welcome to walk the garden and along the shoreline and enjoy the lake scenery. So if we can provide the restoration for view, it would be greatly appreciated by many of those that stop through our town Pelican Lake. And the project is also meant to provide people who have shoreline issues and demonstrate with the suggested materials and methods to prevent erosion. Homeowners and businesses can see, learn from this, and be educated here by viewing the shoreline, and this is public property. We want to set an example. We want to educate and demonstrate the materials of the rock, the buffer trees, the shrubs, the plants of Wisconsin native origin, and that is to help protect the shores and prevent the runoff. It will provide a place for food, for birds, bees, butterflies. As of right now, it is not. In closing, the shoreline issue has been discussed at previous meetings in the last 3 years. Robert Steinbeck has attended many of these restoration events, also with the booth explaining to people where, how, and what is required to do such projects per the DNR, including Oneida, Vilas, Langley counties, and other areas he's been to and worked at. He's currently doing a restoration project on Pelican Lake. So we want our site to provide the value to homeowners, vacationers heading north to Eagle River and far beyond. We will provide a large board sharing our complete shoreline project along with our update of native garden and plants. We look forward to Oneida County Conservation partnering with the Pelican Lake Association and offering us additional information to make this a success. We sincerely thank you for listening and taking the time and hope for your support.
Thank you. Any questions?
I have one more, Rob. That gentleman was just here talking about islands. We've had islands on our lake probably for 10 years or so, and there was one at the state landing, one at the town landing. They have a base that comes up maybe about this far, you remove the whole camera and so on. A guy was snowmobiling, there's a road or landing there, the gas station landing going to the lake. The guy got off that side and hit that concrete and threw himself from the snowmobile, broke some ribs and so on. So I'm advising the guy, if he put something in it, and I saw kind of a cone concrete thing that he was holding the camera, that they marked that carefully.
Yes.
Just a piece.
Well, driving 45 every now and then in the fall, you do get some pretty good waves. On that east shore. I mean, you get the white caps coming across there. It's,
Yeah, it's east shore, we got prevailing west, southwest, northwest winds, and it eats away at it for sure.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, thank you.
I do have copies of what I just I have a copy of my notes for everyone, and I have a copy of the estimate to attach for everyone. But I only do have one set of the pictures that I can pass around.
Okay. Sure. We'll get that.
Pictures, like I said, the pictures don't do justice unless you're actually there. Thank you.
Thank you for your work on this, and look forward to hopefully seeing you get approved. Okay, hearing no other questions of our presenters, we'll move on to 6C. Sure.
Thank you. Okay, I didn't have a little bit of material to put into the packets here, but hopefully if there's any questions, committee can sure ask those and I can provide those. We're looking at putting in a project proposal coming from our department that will look at protecting dark skies as a natural resource in northern Wisconsin. We've already been doing some of the work. We will do presentations throughout the summer. We have our Lights Out event that we host in both June and August. So what we're hoping to do here is right now, those events are, the presentations are kind of centered on myself presenting, but what we were looking at to ask for a 1-year grant for the $10,000. Mostly the time will go to a coordinator to work on helping homeowners, businesses and communities understand why dark skies matter and how simple lighting choices can protect them rather than on regulation or infrastructure. And as I mentioned, we right now have our Northwoods Lights Out event, so we're hoping to continue that and maybe put a little bit more emphasis on that. Working on outreach and educational materials. There is a new organization called Dark Sky Wisconsin. We're just starting to connect up with them and see how they could help and we can help them. And also bringing in additional partners. Right now, we've got Northwoods Land Trust, Oneida County Lakes and Rivers Association, Northwoods Explorers, and I'm sure Vilas County has been working with us up to this point, and we're just looking for the final say-so with that. So right now, as I mentioned, mostly LTE hours going into this because we're gonna be heavy on outreach and awareness. I know there's a couple of things that come to mind, where we might be doing additional outreach, some of the billboards. We'll see how that kind of works out with, some of the storage units. And, we are starting to see some of the lake associations start this within their lake association and promote and advocate for dark sky like a night or two during the summer. So we're hoping to work with a lake association or two or more closely in there. So if there's any questions, I'm happy to answer them. And there will be some material, as I said, it will mostly coordinator time just to do the outreach and put the time and awareness out there. But I'm happy to answer any questions. And we're looking to present that to Lumberjack at their October meeting.
Yeah, I do know at the Town of Crescent level, when some storage units were placed on the intersection of South Maple and Highway 8, they were concerned about some of the lighting. And it really becomes a balance between providing security protection for the people that.
Yep.
And I say, you know, we got wonderful rules. You can only do so much space before you start having too much you don't have enough impervious surface. So we want people to buy the lake property. We want them to come up, but they have to have places to store their toys. Mm-hmm. And you start seeing a lot of storage units. So I think there's a balance there between, you know, wanting people to invest in our properties, but also provide places for them to store things. How prevalent is it? I mean, I look out at Crescent Lake. How prevalent is it on most lakes where it becomes an issue? I mean, I don't see a lot of people keeping lights on there by the water for very long.
I've heard good and bad.
Yeah.
I'll hear, I've had boaters or out monitoring or being out at night with a property or two that has lights that are staying on all night that make it really hard for boaters on the water to see.
30,000 lumens.
Exactly, and then there's other areas that are really good to where people are, they either have them on timers or they have them on, you know, to where they're motion detection. So it's a little mix of things and people react differently. And I think it's just a matter of having that awareness. Right. And more than that saying,
turn them off,
do this, but just, hey, be aware that these things are important for our wildlife, our pollinators, and for boaters and for safety. There's a mix there's a good middle ground that's there.
Yeah, and it's all about education because you don't have to trade security for migratory passageways. It's just a matter of, you know, there's not a lot of intruders that are coming in 30 feet above the ground. So you have shields upright and light downward, it's, you know, an easy matter to have security and have dark skies.
Exactly, so it's just sometimes just on how they're configured and shielding, as simple as that.
Thank you for your efforts.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Any other questions? All right, those were our 3 presentations for the Lumberjack. Good skills to all of you as you go forward to the presentation before that goes to your.
Thank you very much for having us today.
You bet. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Enjoy the weather.
You bet. Bye.
Okay. The Catherine Lake District Public Hearing Update. I think 4 of us with a 3-word person and then Linnea zoomed in, so
Yeah, I don't have a lot. It was more to have it on the agenda if we wanted to touch base about something or if there's additional public comment. There's nothing for action today coming out of that meeting. I know Jana emailed all the committee has comments, written comments, and all of the material that we took in from the public hearing day. So that should be in your mailboxes, email boxes.
how many were there? What? 20, 25 or 30? What in the audience? You remember?
For people wise or
But,
I'm thinking there's a good 30 people
about
there.
30.
Yeah, I thought it was a good turnout. Yeah.
it is very well organized by the land and water people. Thank you.
It worked well.
Yeah, they provided me a script that was pretty hard for me to screw up on. Rob, Michelle, Carl, which was greatly appreciated, because you always get a little nervous at public hearings and make sure you do it right, or we'll probably end up in the front page somewhere.
Well, and it's still, but.
Yeah.
But
So it
I
was,
just one comment
yeah.
about the letter from Sugar Camp. And I may have missed something, I don't know, it sounded like they weren't in favor of presenting a town person for the Lake District. And that is mandatory, it is statutory. They don't have to, it does not have to be anybody that's on the board. And I thought it might be helpful, and it may not, but to have anybody who might be from that Lake District area who's already on board might want to put forward some volunteers. All it needs to do is get somebody who's gonna show up at the Lake District meeting. And then if possible, present the results to the town board later, so they know what's going on in their Lake District. But would that be something helpful to Sugar Camp if we presented them with a list of volunteers that they could choose from to select the town representative? Doesn't have to be from their.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, I did chat with the town chairperson after in Dan Bucket, so they didn't read the statute far enough. Uninformed, that they thought it had to be one of your town supervisors or town chair that served on the committee. I know when I was on the Crescent Town Board, I kind of wish my two supervisors would interest as town appointees to the two districts. I think it's helpful when someone from the governmental body does that, but they don't have to. And I'm sure they will have no problem coming up with a recommendation from the town board, should this go through and a district be formed. I think they can find the town representative pretty quickly. I don't think it will take them that long. When I listened to the Sugar Camp presentation, I think that was one thing. I think they were talking more from and that I think governmental bodies all get a little nervous when another taxing authority is put in place. And again, the powers of the Lake District are a lot. In that we've been very fortunate on the two that I served on. They stayed true to their course of controlling invasive species. And I know in Crescent, when it came up, they wanted the district, I think, to start doing something with enhanced wake and the leadership groups. No, we're not doing that. We're not getting, even though we could have the power to do those things, but we're not gonna do it. I think that's maybe where the town was a little bit concerned about. I think that represent everybody. But yeah, I think that the group did a really good job. I think they're gonna have the support. I think it just moves along with that support, because they were 72% or.
Yeah, somewhere up above.
Yeah, 72% of the owners are supportive, so.
I've never heard a number that high before.
Yes, well, yeah, a little smaller, like maybe, but yeah, that's a great number, no doubt about it, so. They'll be moving forward. You do have in your packet the tentative timeline as we move forward on that. And all I can suggest is that, I think as time goes on, more and more lakes are gonna come forth with, especially that are dealing with invasive species, and they need to have that equitable distribution of who helps pay for that. And that's the big problem. If everybody voluntarily kicked in and would provide funding for their efforts to control that, you wouldn't need them. But some people don't. They want to enjoy the lake, they want to have their place, but they don't want to pay for it to keep the water clean and free of invasive species. So I just think that over time, we see more. So, and again, thank you for your efforts on that, Carla, and your committee. You're well organized. And land records as well. I think some people don't understand how important land records is and getting all that information. That's the tax roll stuff, and they a lot of time. So thank them all. Anything else on that? I'm sure the timeline they will be back. Wildlife damage program.
And I do want to introduce Jeremy Irish, that's here in place of Jim Tharman and presenting a budget today. So I'll let Jeremy take it from here.
Yeah, so I'm here just bringing the wildlife damage.
Is your
program.
mic on?
Sorry. Can you hear me okay now?
Yeah.
Is that better? All right, so I'm here just for the wildlife damage program budget. This is the program that works with agricultural producers with crop damage, primarily with deer, bear, goose, and turkeys, and it's a variety of things. It can be berries, it can be Christmas trees, bees, cranberries, and other things. And I don't know the intricacies of what Jim Tharman has as far as producers, unfortunately, but I think most of you probably do or know, or he could certainly bring that to you. But when there's an agricultural problem like that, they contact our agency, and this funding goes for us to be able to go out there and offer recommendations, also recommend abatement, give abatement, and then even do appraisals if necessary for that. So these are DNR funded monies. It's a cooperative program between Wildlife Services, the county, and DNR, so it pass through dollars. If you guys want to look, did everybody get a copy of the budget? Yep. There's 2 pages to it. It's the same budget, but the feds require a certain amount of line items and the state requires a certain amount of line items. So what they did is they each created their own budget. And the one that seems to be easiest for people to read is the one that says, it's page 2 of 2, if you guys have it. It's the second one. It just goes line by line with mileage, you know, overhead, expenses, abatement, and so on and so forth. There's not a whole lot to say. If you look at the totals, you got the total at the bottom there. If you move over to the USDA funding approved, there's a 3,376. Those are federal dollars that are kicked in to just help make the program go a little bit further. You know, if you ask me what it was compared to last year, there's a 2.9% increase overall. Translates into about a $1,200 increase from the 2026 to the 2027 budget. So county wants to continue to proceed with the wildlife damage program budget in Oneida County, or with the work for the producers. I need you guys to approve the budget, give a couple signatures.
The music to many supervisors, yours is there's no tax levy.
This is a pretty easy budget for that. No, yes, man.
We've heard, I've been on this 2000, never heard a negative complaint relative to what you offer and provide for us in Oneida County. So I'll make a motion to approve the 2027 Oneida County budget for the WDP budget for $39,302.42 from WDNR funding. And we'll forward that on to the executive committee, correct?
Second.
The motion and a second to move the budget forward. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, hearing none, nays, none. Thank you.
I've got I need that signed by you, Rob, before I bring
Yeah.
that over. Maybe you want to
Yeah.
pass that to Michelle?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think, I don't
I
have
don't know
my
if you have
folder,
that
this will
copy.
work. And Jeremy, do you want the deer donation?
Yeah,
Well,
might as well send that home too.
Okay, and then also the deer donation program, which we participate in each year.
You need a motion on that.
Yeah, I do. That's B, number 8B.
I'll make a motion to approve the deer donation program
Second,
as presented.
Any questions? That's, we've been doing that for a number of years. It's a good thing. I appreciate what you do for us on that.
No.
All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None, motion passes unanimously. Thank you. All right,
Pass the buck, huh?
yes, PFAS update.
A lot in the literature lately on it.
did you want to say something, Eric?
Oh, yeah, if you got a couple minutes. I did forward everybody pretty much the county's magazine, right, because I wasn't sure if you've all seen it yet, right? This is so. And I thought the interesting thing about the county's magazine is there's not a lot of information there, right? And that's for a reason, because the DNR has not really released a lot of information yet on what this money's gonna look like and how it's gonna get distributed. And so, but the thing that you recognize that I highlighted is that the money supposedly is supposed to become available in the fall of this year, so that's kind of like next month. So. What I can tell you is, it's gonna be some type of grant program. But I think the concerns are with this really short time frame and when the money actually becomes available is exactly how the county is going to do this. Right, I mean, I think I've mentioned this to you guys before, and the grants for the fall that are gonna become available according to the DNR are for private wells, schools, child care facilities, and biosolids. So all of those things apply to Oneida County. Right, so are we gonna, are we gonna test biosolids? Is that gonna be part of the Oneida County plan? Is Oneida County gonna write a grant to get money to test biosolids? Is Oneida County gonna write a grant to have money to expand the testing from out of the town of Stella? There's a lot of towns, I think we know, that have agriculture that have had this stuff spread over the years. And the DNR actually has documentation of a lot of it post 1990, right? I mean, before it's undocumented anymore. But so the concern is the health department gonna do it? Does the county have to hire somebody to write grants? One of the things I found out from the DNR is the grant money can actually be used to pay a contractor to run this program for you, right? Obviously now grant money, rather than going directly to testing, is gonna pay a contractor, but also you're gonna pay a county employee if they're gonna take on that responsibility to do that. I mean, those are all things that I've kind of mentioned to you guys before, and like I said, 1 month, it's fall, if the DNR starts releasing this money, I mean, is there a plan in place of who's gonna write for the grant? We know there's some wonderful grant writers in the conservation land and water department, but I'm assuming, I believe health department also, so I don't know if if it's gonna go past this committee, and how you guys are gonna start looking at what you wanna do with the money that's gonna become available. So, I can tell you, the other thing is I've had a conversation, or, I haven't had a conversation, but I have solicited the EPA. And what I did find out is, the EPA money for the Superfund site that was offered for the expanded testing actually did get exhausted. There was, for a while there, they were having a hard time getting the rest of it spent, but it was all used. But, I did have a conversation with the EPA and sent them a multiple question letter that they are supposedly gonna respond to, with a lot of questions on the EPA part of it, whether they're gonna continue the investigation, whether Stella is gonna be the extent of the Superfund, and any question I could think of, I sent them, and they said, thank you, and we're gonna get back to you, so.
You said that work?
The EPA,
They did notice in the magazine, Andy Phillips had a little update on that, but a number of us will be attending the September conference for the County Association, and Andy usually has a question answered. If there's any real specific questions you'd like me to ask him, just email it. I can't have a lot, but if there's something that you think would be very beneficial for this committee to get feedback on relative to this. And they may have a sectional on, I haven't looked at all the sectionals from the conference, but they may have a sectional on this as well.
you're talking from the EPA, right?
Well, I'm just like Andy represents Wisconsin Counties Association at these conferences, and we can ask him any questions. So if there's a question that might be helpful for me to bring back, let me know.
And I'm hopeful that Wisconsin Counties Association are gonna give you some excellent direction on how, at the county level, you might want to address it. I mean, you know, I mean, the health department tests for nitrates and coliform, but this is a different animal. But I mean, at least I guess there's some, you know, and I understand the health department doesn't have, does not have, you know, somebody just sitting around who has time to do this kind of work. And how much is it gonna take?
Well, because right now we've got, I mean, Carl, planning and zoning, you guys involved in this at all, that's the building permits or anything like that?
As far as what you cost?
Yeah, when you approve building permits or,
No, the only thing we do a little bit is, with some of our conditional use permit projects, we have looked at some developments in this proximity of landfills, some old landfills.
right, okay,
But yeah, no, zoning really is nothing.
okay, so it's the land and water committee and the health department are the two primary committees that.
My belief is yes.
Yeah, and so I think that might be the kind of question is, what would a county need to move forward from a personnel standpoint to do some of these things, to see that these things, and that, in all what the counties association recommend we do that,
Right.
okay.
And I think it's important to know that the DNR did tell me that you can use that funding to pay a contractor to do that work.
Right.
Whether it's financially beneficial, whether it's gonna cost more than you're willing to spend, you think it's better, but you know, to do it in county, you know, would be the question.
Yeah.
When I talked to the DNR, they said, you know, like I said, it's kind of fluid, but if you have any questions, you know, they will come and talk to you. And the person you wanna contact to arrange that, or any questions is locally is Mark Pauley, and either he'll answer your questions or he will direct you to the correct, because there's a lot of fingers in the DNR, right? When I talked to him, it's like, well, I do biosolids, I don't do water, and I mean, I don't do drinking water, I do, so he'll get you the right person to simplify, hopefully, the process. If you have questions, and you guys should have questions.
Yes.
Right? And, you know, the first question is when the money becomes available, and then whether statewide it becomes a big rush to grab part of the 130 million, or, you know, you guys are the poster child. I mean, Stella is the worst in the state, and hopefully you'll be granted that, you know, the amount that for having that first place prize, if you want to call it that.
What's a little confusing for me, it's like, we brought this up to executive committee, I think, correct me if I was wrong, I understand, but it was kind of like, do we try to form another ad hoc committee to deal with this? The decision, but no, land and water will continue to look at PFAS, the health department will look at PFAS individually. In that the DNR is the agency that's supposed to oversee this. And the DNR is the one that's going to come up with whatever.
That's over.
Yeah, I mean,
They're simply providing the money now. The
Yeah.
days when
Okay.
Mark Pauley did all the legwork and the mailings, that's your responsibility now. They've already told that we've been explained to. It's not, they're not gonna be implementing the program. They're gonna be granting the money, and you guys are gonna, and that's what I've been trying to tell you all along.
that sounds to me like a lawyer's dream.
We're the ones that are gonna have to write the grant together.
You're gonna have to write the grant, you're gonna have to make the rules on what you wanna test it, how you wanna test it, who's gonna be allowed that money to be doing that, that's all gonna be up to you now.
But like I said, can Oneida County have standards that are different than Violence County, than Sawyer County, than Russ County? And so then we run into a nightmare, well, Oneida County is too restrictive or whatever.
Well, I
It
don't,
seems to me the DNR is washing their hands this
I
morning.
don't think we're talking about we're not talking about what the standards are, I mean, those state standards are set.
Okay,
It's how you choose to use your money to investigate or assist families, just like you do
Yeah.
with coliform and nitrate, you know, but you're gonna have free money to do that, I mean, you know, you know, so they don't have to pay for, because PFAS is not a $25 test.
The only department I could see possibly getting involved was Sarah Muller Land Information, just because of her mapping capabilities. Again, back in the day, I remember we did get information because at one time we required conditional use permits for land spreading of biosolids. And we tried to get that information from DNR, so at least we know where those sites were. But I'm assuming she could have some involvement with this also, probably technical assistance.
The biosolid testing is gonna get a little more complicated, because they have a certain responsibility now, the corporation, the paper mills, where the DNR does. They do pretty much yearly sampling now, I think, and it's when their license, when their permit comes up, right? So, but obviously, according to what I'm seeing, is you're gonna have the ability to, if you wanna delve into that, maybe more for, more for like the Rylander, substation kind of thing, rather than the paper mills. I mean, but. And the same thing with the childcare in schools. I believe the schools all have to be tested and already are being tested by the state, the school waters. But it is thrown in on what you guys are gonna be able to, although I don't know about childcare. Because that is now included. So I don't know if the state forces all childcare facilities to test for PFAS.
So there's gonna be this pot of money that's available to apply for.
That's the way I understand how now it's kind of divided a little. The bulk of it is municipality grants, and then there's private grants. But to me, you guys are both, right? You're a municipality, and you're providing grants to your public who are residents of either municipality or private citizens. So how that line gets, but I think you make the request and they'll figure out which pile it comes out of.
So once the grants become available, can this committee apply for a grant? Does that cause any problems on our end?
Well,
I would have to look at it more.
yeah, he's trying to understand what's the role of county government? What becomes the role of your municipal, like the city of Rhinelander? What becomes the role of your towns? I don't believe we have it, it's really, it's a village. No, we have village towers. Yeah, so it's just trying to figure out if our town, and maybe there'll be a session on this next month at the conference, I hope so, but there's a lot of learning to do.
I think there's a lot of getting, that's why I keep reminding you guys now, the window gets, money supposedly becomes available in the fall, which is not far away, right? And we still have to figure out. Yeah.
If a grant becomes available in the next month, we should decide at this meeting if this committee can apply for it. And the answer I'm hearing is, we don't really know.
Right.
And so, can we just kind of do it?
Well,
Like,
nobody
what
else
would
would
happen
come
if we
to
just kind
town
of did
and
it?
spell it besides somebody.
But you have to have a plan. Okay, I want
Right,
to request.
in the plan, we can come
Right.
up with a plan, once the grants come out, we can find out what the requirements are under the grant, blah, blah, blah. But we have to be able to know that we can work with something
Right,
like
you
that.
want to just
Right,
provide testing, you want to target other areas with, offering, because the DNR did not offer free testing to anybody. They pick and choose where they thought were gonna be the hotspots.
Right.
And then send out specific invitations, rather than saying everybody in Oneida County can have free testing, and that, to me, is at least an intelligent way, at least to determine where you're at, a big picture. And then adjust your money from there, whether, So there's towns, like Chris said, Nokomis has had stuff spread, he's got people that would like it tested, but the EPA money running out, it didn't spread any further than the 5 extended towns.
Yes. So we're awaiting the guidelines.
from who though?
From the DNR.
DNR will give something out,
The DNR, and then.
and you have plenty of time
They
to
had-
respond for a grant.
Yeah, so, okay, and I know solid waste is looking at it too from what we have over at the landfill, so, well, thank you.
Thank you,
But the good news is that there might be some money available to try and do something, so.
that's the good news, and you guys should be the
They said, figure out
the first ones in line.
how to tap into it, all right. Thank you. Okay, Lake District reports.
Nokomis had their annual meeting on Saturday. Both town of Nokomis and the town of Bradley, because Nokomis is split between the two counties, have a waypost resolution now, the same resolution so that they match. That all was taken care of in July already, but that came out. And they are adding on to their district. They voted to add on, there's about 114 parcels that have access through two different lots that are off water.
So off water access, okay.
But they're not paying in Lake District fees, so they voted to add those in. So I'm gonna be going through with Michelle and Carl and Sarah and Jacob and trying to figure out how to add to the Lake District.
I know, I think on Squash Lake, I think the assessor put determine, they have access to like a 100-foot lot. And they kind of figured out in the tax bill how to between the 20-some parcels to do that. But yet right now, if you have a $200,000 off water home, you pay the same mill rate as if you were on the water.
Right.
So it gets a little complicated on how to do that through the committee, the calculations on it, but yeah, off water sometimes is a challenging sell, so, but yeah, but yet they get to use the lake, so I mean, they should contribute somewhat to it, thank you. Anything else on that?
No, they did have a question, and I don't know who can answer this, but mentioned it, Trusted, I believe, has hand picking.
The squash does hand picking, and Lene has been on that community a long way, but they do all hand picking, they have from the start. And the lake is very conducive to doing hand picking. Crescent, they've done it, but it doesn't.
It's not good.
It's a little darker, right? Yeah, and it's a little, Crescent spots is a little muckier than what squash has, so, squash has always done hand picking.
But they're asking what the cost would, what's it cost to do that?
Well, I think
Or is it volunteers?
No, I think the challenge.
$42 an hour.
$42 an hour?
Yeah, and we have 20 divers and they work all the time they wanna work and they keep a really good handle on milfoil, but we have great visibility.
Oh,
So if you have a mucky bottom
It's hard.
and you only have 3 feet visibility, pieces are floating out before you can see where they're going. It makes it much harder to hand pick.
so they're pulling the roots and everything off.
Yes,
Yes.
yeah.
The challenge is getting divers. I mean, your lake may be very conducive to pulling, but I mean, squash is what, 400 acres maybe, whatever, it's a medium sized lake. And they got the divers.
Yeah, we have very happy divers.
Yeah, you get 3,500 acres.
Yeah,
You're
a lot of dive time.
yeah, well, and where are they?
Right.
I'm surprised they got that many divers. For a while there was like 4.
Well, it multiplies. It's a huge family. They make a big deal out of it. Are you done with your report or?
Yeah, okay.
I'll go in. We had our annual meeting on Saturday. And the voters decided to go ahead and buy the trailer for the oxygen tanks.
Oh.
So now we can drive all 40 tanks at one time to Pine Lake to get refilled. You never have to take them in and out of the trailer. They just drive them in, fill them up, bring them back. So again, every step of the way, they designed the dive boat that we bought this year. We have made it very conducive for their comfort. They never have to pull sacks of milfoil out of the water. They swim them up and hook them onto the boat and they drip dry. And they just keep doing that until all the hooks are full. And then they bring them up into the boat and end up disposing of them at the end of the day instead of racking their backs, climbing in and out of the boat with tanks on and everything. So it's because it's all they've done, they've designed it for the divers. And it makes divers get more divers to come play with them because they enjoy it. And I mean, it's a big day and they're very satisfied at their accomplishments and they take ownership of the number of tons of milfoil they dig out every year. So we're on the biggest year ever. It's the most, because the winters are milder, the milfoil grows longer into the fall and it's getting more light through the winter and it's growing more and more and more.
The lake level is down a little bit in the squash, the lake, it's more of a, they get affected by it, a little bit more of a seepage lake than Crescent, so they're.
So they keep getting more milfoil out of it. But they'll be diving up into September. And they all the divers arrange their own time and when they're going and who they're going with, and so that's not even something the Lake District has to deal with.
Mhm.
We just bring it to the vote when they need, you know, a new dive boat or a new trailer for the oxygen tanks, whatever. And we get them what they need and they just keep going out and doing it for us, so. I would think the first thing would be to figure out the visibility, because if you don't have the visibility. It's probably not going to work as effectively for you.
Okay. Thank you.
Thunder,
Yeah, with the thunder.
yeah, we had our picnic, the bratwurst and the burgers were great, all the food was wonderful, they brought dessert. And we had just a quick 5-minute meeting to pick our next date.
Yeah, Crescent Lake District meets this evening, that's more of the, meeting to prep for the annual meeting and agree tentatively on the budget. So they'll do that tonight. All right, there's our Lake District. Office reports. Budget actual and invoices paid. We've got copies of that. Anything, any highlights? Any questions? Let the record should acknowledge that we have received the office reports for the budget actual and invoices paid. Upcoming events.
Just want to stress we have our star party. I believe, I haven't checked my email recently, but we were looking at weather. I think we're going Thursday night instead of Wednesday night. Looks like we might have some chance of rain and clouds. Thursday looks clear, so I think we're in the moment of pivoting to a new day on that. But so I'm gonna promote Thursday, 7:30, come out. The telescope group will be out there, Northwoods Explorers. Cool things to look through and see. If you have some time or pass the word.
Yes.
That's all I got.
Thank you. If there are any land and water committee items for the agenda, you can either email me, but email Jonna and Michelle, and then they get a hold of me on most of those, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds
Anything
good.
else for land and water committee? Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
You bet. Thank you. Carl, thank you. Go on. Okay. I guess for the record, I should have said we approved the amended agenda.
Well, you want me to add?
Yes, please.
Yes. What's the amendment?
He just amended the amended agenda and I seconded it.
Okay, where is it? Am I on different email or am I on the budget to actual? Budget to actuals. Anything there?
Oh, I have a little outline that I was going to use for you.
Anyway, the ones that you sent for those ones?
Oh, yeah, possibly, yeah, I had it. Sorry, thank you.
So I was looking at the budget to actual and the budget, not the 27, but the.
Yeah,
Okay.
the regular month.
Yeah, we had those are in the.
Yep, those, the invoices were sent on Friday, and then, yeah, everything else was sent before. And then I also gave everybody a little paper clips packet, and the invoices paid hard copy is in there. And there's nothing ahead, it's all normal.
And then we have the upcoming events.
Okay, so upcoming events, there's one event that wasn't on the list that I wanna highlight real quick, we just learned about it last week from Laurel Carroll's. Laurel Herons, she's our health and well-being educator, they're gonna have the program Stepping On program, at the APRC in Rhinelander.
It's going to begin August 18th and run through September 29th from 12:30 to 2:30 p.m. I believe it runs on Tuesdays, every Tuesday between those dates. And basically stepping on is a fun 7-week workshop that's designed to help older adults stay steady, safe, and independent. And they're gonna learn how to identify and avoid fall hazards, both at home and in the community, how vision, medications, and footwear can affect balance, simple exercises to improve strength and stability, and even how to safely get back after a fall. So if anyone knows anyone who's maybe interested or is interested in registering, you can do that through the ADRC in Rhinelander, or you can contact me and I'll help you get to the right person. Other than that, that's our upcoming event.
So most of the events that you have out here that you can register for, there's no fee.
Most of them are no fee. Yeah, there are, I will say some of them do have a fee. I don't know off the top of my head which ones do or don't, but if you would like more information.
Oh, the one that, I saw the one that had fee on there, so.
Yeah, it's usually it's like the big like gardening horticulture programs that usually have a fee attached to them. But if it's like families and relationships and those types of classes, those are usually free.
So you send those out to other department heads, county board members?
The upcoming event?
Yeah.
We usually just do it with this committee. We have a big bulletin board down in the main hallway downstairs that we put, I create flyers for all of these events and I put them up there to kind of display them. Did you want us to start sending?
No, some of these you kind of look through whether, I think you have to look at what the issue is. And maybe it might be helpful if some county board members were aware of it.
Yeah.
It doesn't do that. I don't know how hard it is to do that for, but, again, and the reason I'm saying that is that I think the more that CUW extension can do in terms of informing, our department heads and or county board members of the services available through CUW is kind of nice. But usually AI for nonprofits, practical tools for impact, depending upon what you do here. Some of them are kind of interesting. I probably should sign up myself, but it may be of interest to some, so. But I don't know how hard it is to just do as an attachment then.
I can do as an attachment, send it out every month, kind of like what we do with the digital packet to the full county board and department heads, or we could do mailboxes. If you think it would be better hard copy for people.
You put it on your website as well?
Everything's on the website as well.
I wouldn't do copies.
Okay.
No.
Okay, so digital email, you could start doing that for sure.
It's not what you do, it's what how you advertise what you do.
Well noted.
All right. The budget.
Yes.
Let me get to the right email, go ahead. I read through it, now I gotta find it.
You do. Tracy, did you need it up here or you're just all stronger?
Oh, I've got the hard copy too, so.
Okay, yeah, so we
Oh my
are.
goodness, she's hiding back there in the dark, I didn't see you.
Okay, so with the 2027 budget, I'm just gonna try and make this as painless as possible, but I'm gonna organize it where I'm gonna go through one worksheet at a time, so it's not all over the place. So looking at the budget goals worksheet, I'm sorry if a lot of you know this already, we just wanna put it out there again. Our mission is to provide practical, research-based education and to connect residents with expertise and resources of UW-Madison through our partnership with the county and also by leveraging state funding. So we continually strive to address local needs, fill the programming gaps, and complement rather than duplicate existing community efforts. I want to give the example of Rhinelander High School. It offers a robotics club. However, there are no similar opportunities available for younger youth. So in order to address that need, we launched the Lego Robotics Club that's for students in grades 4 through 8. This program helps prepare youth for the STEM and robotics opportunities as they advance into high school. So we're complementing the Rhinelander High School's robotics team with that effort. So one of our primary focus areas in Oneida County is positive youth development, as many of you know. We have programs such as Teen Court, Raise Your Voice, Youth in Governance, Lego Robotics, RoboCamp Theater, leadership development, we have STEM programming and the 4-H community clubs. We essentially help young people build confidence, leadership skills, and workforce readiness. We also provide health and well-being programming for residents of all ages, including evidence-based programs such as Strong Body, Stepping On, Mind Over Matter, and Sit and Be Fit. We also do workplace wellness initiatives. A lot of that is usually through the health department, community presentations, school partnerships, and additional educational outreach. So in addition, our office provides direct services, including ag and horticulture support, soil sampling, water testing kits, pressure gauge testing for planners, private applicator testing, and other connections to extension specialists across the state. Looking ahead, a key priority is continuing to expand programming through partnerships while actively pursuing grants, sponsorships, and other external funding opportunities. This approach helps us to reduce the burden on local taxpayers while also allowing us to maintain and grow services and programs. County support remains critical because it provides the staffing needed to develop and deliver local programming. Oneida County's investment leverages UW-Madison Extension resources, community partnerships, volunteers, grants, and sponsorships, creating a cost-effective model that expands opportunities for residents while also maximizing the Oneida County tax levy dollars. From January through July of 2026, our office generated more than $10,700 in additional revenue through internal and external projects, which totaled up to $6,828 so far this year. Grants, which equaled $1,380. State aid, which was $1,350, and additional service fees, which added up to $688. And we also anticipate more revenue during the remainder of the year. We also continue to realize significant cost savings through our partnership with Nicolet College, which provides office and programming space at no cost. Additionally, the county realizes approximately, and this is just an estimate, $13,000 in annual savings because I do not participate in county health insurance. Ultimately, extension strengthens youth leadership, improves community health, supports local families, connects residents with university experts, and also brings outside resources into the county. So sorry, that was long. I apologize. Does anybody have any questions about the goals worksheet or any comments or anything? Okay, is it okay to move on to the next?
Yes.
Okay, so the next worksheet is the non-mandated services. Although UW Extension is a non-mandated service, the programming we provide is largely preventative in nature. Investing in education often leads to positive outcomes and behaviors that can reduce future costs associated with juvenile crime, healthcare, and other community challenges. We also make every effort to utilize multiple funding sources so that we are not solely reliant on county funding. The majority of our budget supports personnel and essential operating expenses, including telecommunications, office supplies, and the travel necessary to deliver our programs throughout the county. After reviewing our current operations and service levels, we have not identified any program reductions that would provide meaningful cost savings without negatively impacting the services and support we provide to residents. We continue to remain committed to operating efficiently while also maximizing the value and the impact of the county's investment. Any questions on that one? Nope. Okay, the next one I'm going to go over is the year-end estimates. And this is the comparison between the 2026 amended budget with what we expect costs to be at the end of the year. So on the revenue side, the budget anticipated that we have $1,450 in donation. During this year, we received $1,380 in grant funding, which supports the Oneida County Youth and Governance Program. This was a one-time funding source, and it directly supported youth leadership and civic engagement opportunities within the county. For public charges revenue, the budget projected $6,500. As of today, I checked this morning, actual revenue has reached nearly $10,000, and it's already exceeding the annual estimate. A significant contributor was the external projects completed for American Spirit East, statewide 4-H program, which has brought in $6,250 so far. Another contributor is the internal data transfer project that is being completed for Human Services. But by providing this service internally, Extension is helping to avoid approximately $10,000 in external administrative costs to the county, while also generating additional revenue for our department, which comes from the Human Services budget. On the expense side, several accounts are projected to come in below budget. Telephone and communication costs are expected to decrease by approximately 25% or $600. This is due to the updated technology and the elimination of fax-related expenses. Printing and duplication costs are projected to decline by about 50% or $50 as more of our materials are produced in-house. We have a few areas where costs have increased modestly. Employee auto allowance expenses are projected to rise by approximately 30% or $125 because of the additional travel related to internal county projects and cross-department collaboration. For example, when I go to Human Services or when I come to the courthouse, I've helped the Veteran Service Office with their budget as well this year, so that kind of stuff. So meals, lodging, and miscellaneous expenses are actually expected to decrease by roughly 27% or $750. It's reflecting lower than anticipated travel and reimbursement costs for our educators. Overall, Extension Oneida County is projected to reduce costs by approximately $2,655 in 2026. This improvement is largely the result of additional revenue generation and operational efficiencies. The projected year-end variance from the amended budget is only about a 2% difference, which demonstrates a strong budget and continuing to identify opportunities to generate revenue and reduce costs. Any questions about that one?
I do got one question.
Yes, sir.
You had 1380 that you had coming in grant funding for the youth governance.
Yeah.
I see you got that in your donation line item. That should actually be in a grant regular line item. It should be separate from the donations.
I will contact finance
Check
and
with her.
talk with them. Yeah, that's the one that you were told to do it, but I will definitely double check on that. Thank you. Yeah, that was weird. I'm recording this, so slow down. Okay, any other questions on that?
Yeah, what do you do with all your free time?
Oh, you know.
Are you feeling good about this?
Yes. A lot better than when it was first initiated. Yeah, I don't know if you remember, I was very nervous. I will say the Human Services project is very boring. I'm sorry, I'm gonna be honest. I'm sorry.
Part of my
I'm
life
not
is very
bad.
important too.
I love helping them though. I do. I absolutely love being able to help them. The people there are very nice. I love to be able to just walk in and say hi and, chat for a minute. I mean, it's a lot of fun to like mingle with other people in the county. But it's literally taking staples out of paper, scanning them in and saving them to the desktop. It's just, so if I'm having a mentally bad day, it's good work. Yeah. So, but yeah, other than that, though, I've done some stuff for the ADRC and I've been helping the Veteran Service Office, with their budget, and that's been enlightening. So, I mean, it's good, I'm good with it now. Any other questions?
I believe you.
I'm so bad at holding it back in.
I was not optimistic when it started. I was very fearful for you, but
Thank you.
you've done well.
Thank you. Yeah, it's got a lot easier, better, I think. Okay, so I'll move on to the last bit of it, the budget request, what we're actually gonna put in for next year. Overall, the 2027 budget reflects careful planning and fiscal responsibility. Despite a projected increase of nearly $5,900 in personnel costs due to wage, social security, and retirement adjustments, the overall budget increase from 2026 to 2027 is only going to be $1,406. On the revenue side, we are recommending that the donations account be reduced to zero. The revenue budgeted in 2026 came from a one-time teen court grant that we received in 2025. And that grant has has been fully expended and will not continue in 2027. Likewise, the $1,380 grant received this year for Oneida County Youth and Governance was not anticipated when we did the budget for 2026. So removing these amounts creates a more realistic revenue projection moving forward. So we'd like to set that donations account to 0. At the same time, public charges revenue is projected to increase to $28,518. So this revenue will be from internal and external projects, as well as $20,018 in ADRC funding, which will offset a portion of the health and well-being educator position. Just a heads up that beginning in 2027, Extension will assume the full cost of the health and well-being educator position. While this increases our professional services account line item, it also reduces administrative costs within ADRC and will lower the overall long-term cost of the position to Oneida County. It's also important to note that the increase in professional services is offset by ADRC funding with a surplus of $3,629, which helps offset other expenses in our budget. As for expenses, there are several operational accounts that have been adjusted to better reflect actual spending patterns. Telephone and printing costs are being reduced based on the lower usage and the efficiencies gained through technology upgrades. There are increases recommended for membership dues, training and conference fees, employee auto allowance, workshops and programs, and 4-H supplies in order to support ongoing program delivery and professional development needs. So finance has initiated a new system to pay out the educator expenses and mileage. Educator mileage is now being funded through the employee auto allowance account via payroll. And that's why we're asking for an increase of $1,000 in that account for 2027. And the same for educator expenses. They're going to be funded through the workshops and programs account, which is also why you see a $1,000 increase in that account for next year. So educator mileage and expenses, they used to be funded through the meals, lodging, and miscellaneous account, which will no longer be active in 2027 due to these changes. And that account will be decreased to 0 for 2027. So essentially what we're doing are we're reallocating those funds to 2 other accounts due to these changes with Pine. So that's pretty much all I have for that. Any questions or anything, comments, concerns?
I might add one here, hold
Of course.
on. So the increase from 2026 to 2027 is 1,406.
Yes, sir.
Okay. But we amended the budget to 131,638. So I don't know from executive committee standpoint, are you gonna look at are you looking at the amended budget from 2026 to 2027?
So is this,
Or the actual, so apparently in the 2027 budget, initially it was approved for 134,293.
right,
And at some point, it was amended.
so was it amended or is that your projected?
I'm sorry, so on the 134,293, is that the one you're asking me if it was amended?
No. Yes.
So 131.
The 131,630, is that projected?
That's projected for year end,
Okay.
yes.
All
Yeah,
right.
so it's not amended, so I would change that word to projected.
Sorry.
Yeah,
That's okay, only because.
yeah, on the top column,
Yep.
because I was going.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, that's why we meet.
Yes.
So your increase is 1406 total?
1406 total, that would be the difference between the 2 years, yes, sir.
I'll make a motion to approve the UW extension 2027 budget and forward on to executive.
Second by Chris. Motion by Dan. The only question you might need to be ready for is, I don't know what the projected of 131. What maybe led to that efficiency, so that I'm just saying from the executive, because they may go, well, why couldn't we?
Very thankful that you're keeping me so that we can prepare for it. That one I do know is because the increased revenue brought in through our external projects this year.
You can't, you don't know if that'll be there for 2027. Okay.
That's why
No.
we're super hesitant to add it in next
No, no.
year, because we just don't know.
I can just say, have prepared it, say, well, why do we make the budget 131,630, whatever, because that's,
Okay,
that,
thank you.
that there are some unknowns there.
I'll let Amber know, because
Yeah.
she's with the executive committee.
I'm thinking correctly, aren't I?
I would agree.
Yeah.
You never know.
Yeah. Well, I can't say this, it's very thorough. What you provided us in terms of the documentation, we really appreciate that. And we appreciate the efforts of the CUW extension and trying to show the value CUW extension can provide. And I think we've come a long way on that over the years, and appreciate that. So thank you. There's a motion and a second to approve the 2027 budget as presented and forward on to executive committee. Any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, hearing none, so thank you. You did very well. Yeah, that's good, yes.
And you speak up too.
Yeah.
You know, that's my hurt, but you guys like that, so I'll have to remember that.
See how your husband does.
So Tracy,
Oh,
we also approved the beer donation program.
I was here. Oh, we could song, if we didn't sing it with Murphy at the turn.
you, Tracy.
Tracy, thank you. Okay,
So I'll bring the rest of it too, if that's okay.
well, I can help you on the, so I was there.
Oh, yeah. If you want to report on it.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, Amber and I did interview a candidate for the 4-H position. The candidate has been involved in 4-H in Atlantic County for quite some time, was also involved in her youth. So she has a pretty good understanding of the current operation, very excited about it. And we also had someone from regional 4-H too, setting on, so there were Amber, myself, and the other person, I'm forgetting their name, so it went very well. Apparently after they interviewed, she was acceptable, and they worked it out, and we have somebody in that position, so.
And if I may, just a couple of additions. So we did find out that she would get her paperwork through HR. So she's just working on that. We have a tentative start date of August 24th. It's not concrete yet. But that's what we're looking at right now. But yeah.
Good.
All I had.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Office relocation.
All right, so office relocation, Amber was approached by Beth from Human Services, and she had a potential opportunity for extension to utilize some space in their office at the Human Services building. The conversation was building on previous discussions about exploring future office locations and evaluating the long-term space needs of our office. Human Services has reorganized files in storage area, so space has become available that appears comparable to our current footprint. So we want to emphasize how grateful we are for our partnership with Nicolay. We incur no rental or facility costs for the space we use. And Nicolay generously provides classroom and meeting spaces at no charge when we reserve them to the events coordinator. The arrangement has been tremendously valuable in supporting our staff, our programs, and also Nicolay's broader community outreach goals. As we explore the human services option, we want to take a thoughtful and data-driven approach. Buildings and Grounds has agreed to measure our current office footprint at Nicolay and compare it with the available space at the Human Services building to determine whether it would adequately meet the needs of our educators and staff. Beyond office space considerations, we're also evaluating how a different location might affect program delivery and the public accessibility. A significant portion of our work focuses on youth development, and Nicolay provides welcoming, bright, and youth-friendly spaces that have been an excellent fit for 4-H and other educational programs, while also supporting future growth opportunities. Since February, Extension has utilized Nicolay facilities 50 times for meetings, educational programs, and community events, demonstrating the importance of having access to flexible and functional spaces. The benefits of our partnership with Nicolay extend beyond our own programming. Through our reservation process, other Oneida County departments have also been able to utilize Nicolay meeting rooms and classroom spaces at no cost. This creates additional value for the county by providing access to professional and accessible meeting spaces when needed. As we evaluate future office arrangements, it will be important to consider not only the impact on extension programming, but also these broader countywide benefits. We are also considering the visitor experience and overall accessibility of services. Any future location would need to provide clear, convenient access for community members seeking assistance, while also fitting well within the operations of the host department, which would be human services. At this stage, we are simply gathering information and evaluating both current and future needs. We appreciate Human Services' willingness to explore potential opportunities with us, and we also remain very grateful for the continued support and partnership we receive from Nicolay College. And that's that on that one.
So, bottom line is you're happy where you are.
Pretty much, but we're also open. I mean, we're flexible, so whatever the county thinks is best, we will.
Well,
Through, but yeah, we're pretty much set at Nicolay right now.
I can't imagine how you have the Lego robotics thing in human services. I just, you know,
Well, she could be physically in a building and use another building.
Yeah.
Right? You could physically be in human services and use other buildings for meetings.
right.
We could, but it would come, if we were to use Nicolay, it would come at cost. So we'd have to pay for space if we weren't.
If you backed out.
Yeah.
Having the experience on this committee with when we were located in the lower level of the airport. And,
Yeah.
trying to find a location for UW Extension, I was a strong advocate. And was hoping that Nicolay College, that partnership would benefit both places. I think we're making progress there. I guess from a taxpayer standpoint, point of view, it's nice to see the building being used. Granted, I drove up there for Hawaii in the summer. And COVID just has had a tremendous impact on smaller educational facilities where so much is online. I sure like the college experience on the face-to-face, but anything we can do to keep traffic, and it's not costing us anything at this point, so I'm hoping that relationship continues to grow and works well for the extension as well as Nicolay. So I appreciate the offer from Human Services. They found some space, but I kind of like where we are. And all the other committee members.
I do as well. I think it makes sense.
Yeah, I'm not
charging.
Yeah. I do a lot of work at different technical colleges and everyone's a ghost town. And that's why UW Stevens Point's now combining with NTC and Wausau. Well, they did close their campus.
Have you called Marathon County? I drive by there. It's sad. It's
I don't know what Marathon County's gonna do with it. They're talking about moving the police station there and I'm like, it's just not conducive for them.
No, they're Barron County, Richland Center,
Yeah.
the 2-year campuses that flourished in the early 70s, they're gone, which is. I was a 2-year person and that was a full Madison professor's talk. In 69, 70, it was a great place to get an education, so.
I was born in 70.
Are you suggesting that I should be moving on?
No, not at all.
Bob Mott left. I heard you'll be.
10 years, what did he say, 10 years?
10 years, that's it.
Yeah. Oh my, I had a nephew that turned 47, and I go, oh my lord. Anyway, thank you for that. Any other extension items, get those to Jess and we'll move forward for that. So, anything else on that one? Public comment? Let the record show there's nobody in the county boardroom, and I don't believe there's any Zoom out there. So with that, we are adjourned. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Colette, what'd you do to your hand?
About Lake Nokomis, about.
You whacked it pretty good.
I whacked it, I was.